Hey Game Topper Nation, Josiah Burkhardt with Game Toppers here, and today I'm going to show you how to assemble the JJ Burkton mat rack. So I have all the parts laid out in front of me. We have the two side panels here, the mat rack holes, and then the two cross supports. Additionally, we have our cams. For this one there are 16 cams which are used to assemble the unit, and then 16 of the cam screws that we use as well. The only other tools you'll need besides that is a screwdriver, Phillips head screwdriver. A larger one will make it just a little easier. And then also a hammer. So here I have a small mallet, and that's going to be a bit easier to use. You could use a regular hammer. You're just going to need to be really careful that you hit it flush so that you don't end up bending the plastic on the cam. So at this point we have the parts laid out, and the first thing to do is install the cams. So you take the cam, and we have on our pieces holes where all these cams will go. So you want to line up the flat side of the cam with the flat side of the part. At that point, you can take your hammer and you just pound the cam in gently until it's flush with the part. And that's one cam in. So we do that for all 16 cam holes that are on these parts. Each place where there's a large hole for a cam, you just put a cam in. So now that we have all 16 cams installed, we move on to installing the cam screws. So there are some smaller holes all over these pieces that we put the cam screws into. Now note, we do not want to put cam screws into these slightly deeper and larger holes, because those were used to hang the part for the powder coating process. So those are a hole that'll be covered up when the unit is all assembled. So just to put a cam screw in, all you do is you take the hole, you put the screw in. It's a little bit tight, so you'll need to hammer it in very gently, just so that the gray stop is all the way in the hole. So at this point, we've got the cams and the cam screws all installed. So now we're going to go to the final assembly. So what you want to do is take one of the side pieces here, and do note that where the hanger holes are, that is the bottom edge. So when this rack is standing up on the floor, it'll be standing like this, where that is on the floor. So now we're going to take one of the mat hole rack pieces, and we're going to attach that to this piece. So what you do to line it up is you take this back end that has the cam screws, and that needs to line up with the cam screws on this edge of the piece, so that I know it goes this way, not that way. It goes like this. You line up the cam holes with the cam screws, and they just snap in. So it goes in like that, and like that. So now that's lined up, and I know I have these along the back edge. Then you take your screwdriver, and you just put it in there, and you're going to tighten clockwise the cam screw. You just go until it's tight. Don't tighten it too much to where it strips the screw. Just tighten it until it's snug. And there we go. This piece is assembled. Now we're going to go on to the next piece, and we're going to do the same thing with this on the bottom half of the same piece. This is the easiest way to assemble it, especially with one person, so that it's not too awkward when you're trying to do the other half. So again, we do the same thing here. We line these up to the edge that has the cam screws. Line those up on the bottom. Make sure these are pointing towards the floor. And then we attach it just like we did the other one. So now at this point, we have it halfway done. The next thing to do is to take the other piece and we're going to line it up just like we did this one. So that these are on the bottom and that these are on the back end and might line up with the other piece. So in that case, that's just putting this right down on top. And I can just set it there, move it around until I line up the holes the way I need them. And just like the other sides, they just snap right in and tighten it up. And now we have the basis of the rack assembled. All that's left is to put on the two cross supports, and now you can see the cams have all aligned for this piece to go on both here and on the bottom. So I'll rotate it around here. Now I can do it from the back side. Just take this, line it up with the holes and push it in. And that's in, and now I just have to tighten them. Same for the cross support on the bottom, and then the rack will be done. Flip this over here so it's a little easier to reach. There we go. We have the full J.J. Burkton mat rack. Should only take about 15 to 20 minutes. It's fairly simple, straightforward to put together. So it's very sturdy. It's great.